Tonight, News Prime. Lagos set for full enforcement of single-use plastics ban. In business, CBN restricts bureau de change operators to $25,000 foreign exchange weekly, one dealer bank. On the foreign scene, state of emergency declared for Santorini after quakes. And finally, in sports tonight, Man City outspent all Premier League clubs. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Uyi Agumofwebe, reminding all of our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nightcomsat. Let's start tonight by telling you the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review has proposed the creation of 31 new states in the country. If the proposal scales through, the Nigerian state will be made up of 67 subnational governments. The proposal is for new states contained in a letter read during plenary session by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, who presided over the session in the absence of the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas. Bandits have reportedly kidnapped the former Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Marhazu Siga, retired in Siga local government, Bokari local government area of Katsina State. The bandits also killed one person and abducted at least 9 others, as they were said to have ransacked several homes, carting away valuables. Katsina State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Abubakar Sadiq also confirmed the attack. The Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to terminate the appointments of 3 independent National Electoral Commissions, resident electoral commissioners, Rex in charge of Sokoto, Abia, and Adamawa states. The affected officials are Dr. Nuri Ali, Sokoto State, Barrister Hudu Yunusa Ari, Adamawa State, Professor Ikeme Funa Chijoke Uzochukwu. The decision followed the Senate's consideration of a motion sponsored by Senate Leader Okpeyemi Bamidele during a plenary session. President Bola Tinubu has condoled with parents, guardians, and families who lost their loved ones in a fire incident that engulfed an Islamic school in Kara Namoda, Zamfara State. The president conveyed his condolences in a statement signed by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, titled President Bola Tinubu Mourns Zamfara Islamic School Pupils. The fight against female genital mutilation took center stage in Owerri, Imo State capital, as the wife of the governor, Barrister Chioma Uzodimma, in partnership with UNICEF, marked the International Day of Zero Tolerance for FGM. This year's theme, Step Up the Pace, Strengthening Alliances and Building Movements to End FGM, underscores the need for collective efforts in eradicating the practice. We'll have those details for you subsequently in our news broadcast. In the meantime, we turn to other stories tonight. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening Nigeria's security architecture, assuring that he has prioritized national security as a fundamental aspect of his governance. He stated these at the Chief of Defense Staff Joint Task Force Commanders Conference in Abuja. Tinubu, represented by Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru, lauded the military and security agencies for their relentless efforts in combating security threats across the country. Let's move up north now to the country's northeast, where Benue State Governor Babangana Zulum has led a high-profile Nigerian delegation to initiate the repatriation of refugees who fled the Boko Haram insurgency to Bagasola, Chad Republic. The delegation, which included Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, and Federal Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, was received in Bagasola by the Governor of Lak Province, Saleh Chijani. Reports says the displaced persons, mostly Borno indigenes, have spent nearly 10 years away from their homeland due to the insurgency that affected communities around the Lake Chad Basin. The first phase of the repatriation exercise, 1,768 families comprising 7,790 people will return to Nigeria. Let's go to Edo State now, where the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has adjourned proceedings to Monday, February 10, for Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo to open his case. This development follows the failure of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, which was scheduled to present its witnesses starting February 6 to do so. The Commission's lead counsel, Kanu Agabi SAN, informed the three-member panel, led by Justice Wilfred Okpochi, that they would not be presenting any witnesses after giving it a thought at the end of Wednesday's proceedings. The United Nations World Food Programme says it has budgeted $2.5 billion in the 2023 to 2027 Nigeria country strategy plans geared towards achieving zero hunger and improved nutrition across the country. Head Loam said the workshop organized by the organization who said the World Food Programme's strategic goal is to ensure a world without hunger in line with the Sustainable Development Goals 1 and 2 on poverty and zero hunger. The Lagos State government has hosted members of the Food and Beverage Recyclers Alliance on a courtesy visit to discuss the modalities for the enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics, emphasizing the full enforcement will commence very soon. Speaking at the meeting held in this room, Environment and Water Resources Commissioner Tokumbo Wahab reiterated the government's commitment to the SUP ban, describing it as strategic and intentional. Wahab stated that the discussions also covered extended producer responsibilities and ongoing efforts by Food and Beverages Recyclers Alliance to collaborate with the government. Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, has launched the Barau Initiative for Agricultural Revolution in the Northwest to empower 558 young farmers across the 186 local government areas in Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. Sharon Ajay now brings us details.
Assembly, Senator Barau, represented by the Special Advisor, Policy and Monitoring, Professor Bashir Mohammed, says each beneficiary will receive a 5 million naira interest-free loan, totaling 2.79 billion naira to boost agricultural production, particularly maize and rice. FEG says the initiative that aligns with the Renewed Hope agenda aims to restore the region's status as Nigerians' food baskets will be launched in April 2025 in partnership with a national financial institution.
We thank God that so far so good. Various interventions by the government has lowered the incidence of banditry and insecurity, especially in the Northwest Zone. But the program is extensively collaborating with all the relevant security agencies, along with the states and local government councils, including the traditional institutions, to ensure the security of all the participants that are going to partake in the program. To this end, I hereby solicit your support for the success of this project. If we attain food security in our country, more than half of our problem will be solved. So let's do it together for the benefit of all.
He says the initiative is being implemented in collaboration with security agencies and traditional rulers to ensure the safety of farmers across the region.
The broad initiative for agricultural revolution in the Northwest aims to use the vast arable land in the geopolitical zone to restore agricultural prominence and to achieve food security. 3 young men, 3 young farmers will be selected from each of the 186 local government areas of the 7 states that comprise the Northwest geopolitical zone: Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto, and Zamfara. Each selected beneficiary will receive 5 million naira loan to invest in farming during this year's cropping season. The sum of 2 billion 790 million, 2.79 billion will be disbursed to the beneficiaries.
Senator Barao therefore called on stakeholders to support the project, emphasizing that food security is key to Nigerians' economic stability. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Sharon, for your reporting tonight. Katsina Commander of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has called for a collective effort to address drug abuse in the state. The agency's commander in the state, Mohammed Aminu Abubakar, made the call in Katsina during sensitization and advocacy for women and youth on drug abuse awareness and prevention. Aminu Abubakar expressed the need for the people of the state to contribute their quota in the fight against drug trafficking and abuse. The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has begun the payment of 50,000 Naira monthly stipends to 10,000 indigenous youths from the Niger Delta under its youth internship scheme. Director of Corporate Affairs at the Commission, Seledi Thompson Wakama, disclosed this to journalists in Port Harcourt, River State capital. She explained that the beneficiaries would undergo practical hands-on training across the various organizations for 12 months to develop critical skills. Suspended Edo State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Samson Osage has denied committing financial infractions. Osage was suspended alongside the chairman of Edo State Local Government Service Commission, Damian Lawani, for alleged official and financial infractions. However, in a statement, Osage denied the allegation against him and expressed readiness to defend himself and prove his innocence. In a bid to address growing concerns of insecurity in Benue State, particularly the recent killings in Otukpo, the National Association of Idoma Security Professionals has called for an urgent Benue Security Summit during a press briefing in Abuja. Queen Agaba was there for Global Television. She now reports.
Benue State has witnessed series of attacks, including killings, robberies, and kidnappings. Armed headsmen are believed to have been responsible for many of these attacks, leaving dozens dead and many more injured. One of the most recent incidents occurred in the Umogidi community of Adoka district in Otukpo local government area, where at least 46 people were killed in a sustained attack by armed headsmen. Following these developments, the National Association of Idoma Security Professionals is calling for a collective action to address the security challenges in Benue State, emphasizing the need for an urgent Benue Security Summit to develop effective strategies to combat insecurity and protect lives and property.
If you look at it, the insecurity in Benue State today has gone beyond the government cycle. And so, like you all know, security is a collective responsibility. And we are all, coming on board to see how we can bring solutions to the issues. Just yesterday, there were killings in Otukpo, and also somewhere in Asa, in Otukpo still, there are still killings. So we, as a concerned professionals from this region, we are calling on the government to see how we can come together with a security summit that is tailored towards the solution of the insecurity in Benue State. Today, we don't have any digitalized security checkpoints in Benue State. If you're traveling outside the checkpoint, the military base in Nasarawa State, there is no military checkpoint that is standardized to meet up with the security solution of the people.
We are aware of the challenge, right? So we are supposed to go for the solution. How do we now go for the solution? One of the solutions is that the security summits that we're talking about, that this association is trying to come up with. Because there are certain critical stakeholders in Benue that are not carried along when it has to do with insecurity issues. Civilian population, also security managers. You don't leave the fight against insecurity in the hands of uniformed men alone. So we are trying to see how to bring traditional rulers, religious leaders, and other critical stakeholders.
Conferred with the honor of the Grand Patron, Chief Dr. Mike Okibe Onoja pledged to do more for the people of Idoma Land and Benue State regarding security.
The honor you have done to me is also a responsibility and an incentive to do more for Idoma Land in terms of security.
The association reaffirmed its commitment to support efforts to address the security challenges, promoting peace, security, and development in Benue State. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting.
Well, thank you, Queen Agaba, for following this development for us. Let's stay with security matters a while now. Kwara State Police Command has fought 2 kidnapping attempts and arrested 4 suspects in Baruten and Ifelodun local government areas of the state. In a statement, the command spokesperson Adeto Ejire Adeyemi said the arrest followed intelligence-driven operations by the Anti-Kidnapping Squad and the State Criminal Investigation Department. According to the statement, 2 suspects, Tukra Muhammad and Yahya Abdullahi, were arrested in Baruten for attempting to extort 4 million naira from a resident of Ajuba Fulani camp, Elisha Baruba, after initially demanding 20 million naira. This is Abuja, and you're watching the live broadcast of News Prime on Global Television. Just a quick reminder that when the rest of the news returns tonight, CBN restricts BDCs to $25,000 foreign exchange weekly one dealer bank. What exactly are the issues? We'll let you in on those details, as well as bring you other stories from foreign and sports segments. Do stay with us, everyone. Tonight, the rest of News Prime returns, beginning with business, where Benue State government says it is demonstrating its commitment to the implementation of the natural gas expansion project to ensure access to alternative source of energy and boost the state's economy. Correspondent Felicity Ndere reports that Governor Hyacinth earlier re-emphasized his commitment when he received the chairman of the program, Professor Muhammad Ibrahim, at the Government House in Makurdi, the state capital.
The program chairman, Professor Muhammad Ibrahim, while presenting the report to the governor, explained that their findings are based on the field assessment of the availability of coal as a mineral resource for the production of natural gas. Professor Ibrahim further noted that the committee also took awareness of production of auto gas utilization, exploring the possibility of liquefied natural gas, clinical environmental assessment power generation, which the committee estimates at 5 to 20 megawatts.
Benue is going to pioneer in the country the production of gas, not from the conventional hydrocarbon, but from the non-conventional coal. Just so that the nation will have an alternative, to gas availability.
The state government had inaugurated a state committee for the implementation of the natural gas expansion program to liaise with the national committee in enhancing resources for economic industrialization.
We are very eager as a committee, and the governor has transformed our committee now into an implementation committee.
Governor Hyacinth earlier, who thanked the committee for their diligence in coming up with the report, said the project is of immense benefit in aspects such as economic diversification, employment generation, energy security, and investment opportunities. The governor noted that the state government has reached an agreement with the Akaweto Kula Polytechnic Makurdi for the training of people who will be involved in driving the project in the state.
You are the very actors to help us, comb through the nitty-gritties of all this transaction. Again, you heard me say I want the full implementation of it.
Governor Alia also received a proposal from an investor for the implementation of the natural gas expansion program in the state. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere reporting.
Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television from Makurdi, the Benue State capital. There, let's turn to somewhere else tonight, where the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) has urged the Federal High Court in Abuja to allow it to join the 100 billion naira lawsuit filed by Dangote Petroleum Refinery, seeking to stop the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited and oil marketers from importing refined petroleum products into the country. However, Dangote Refinery opposed the Commission's application to join the suit, describing the Commission as a meddlesome interloper that has no business in the case revolving around the Petroleum Industry Act, an act of the National Assembly. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission says it needs to be allowed to join the lawsuit as a defendant in order to oppose Dangote Refinery's suit. In a bid to improve the lives of Nigerians, the federal government says it has expanded its palliative program to support students across the country and residents of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, building on the successes of its previous distribution in Imo State. In a statement from Finance Ministry signed by Director of Information and Public Relations, Mohammed Manga, it notes that the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Anite, while distributing the palliatives over the weekend, emphasized that the gesture will address immediate needs and form part of the broader economic reform agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Residents of the Federal Capital Territory have been left stranded and struggling with fuel shortages following the sudden closure of several retail outlets owned by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited within the capital city. It was learned that the stations closed for some days were allegedly ordered by management of the national oil firm and will continue till next week. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has released new guidelines which permits Bureau de Change operators, BDCs, to purchase up to $25,000 weekly from authorized dealer banks to meet retail market demand. In a circular signed by Dr. W.J. Kanya, Acting Director of Trade and Exchange Department at the Regulatory Bank, the Apex Bank also outlined the compliance requirements to ensure transparency and curb potential forex misuse. On the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to ban transgender athletes from participating in women's sports. Trump said before he signed the order at the White House, surrounded by dozens of children and female athletes that form now women's sports will be only for women. With this executive order, the war on women's sports is over, he said. A state of emergency has been declared on the Greek island of Santorini after days of consecutive earthquakes. It comes after a magnitude 5.2 tremor was recorded at 21:09 local time between the Greek islands of Amorgos and Santorini, making it the strongest in recent days. It is estimated to have occurred at the depth of 5 kilometers. Hundreds of Bangladeshi protesters have smashed down buildings connected to ousted former leader Sheikh Hasina on Thursday as after students with excavators began demolishing a museum to her father. The museum and former home of Hasina's late father, Bangladesh's first president, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, has been set on fire last year during the student-led revolution that ended her 15 years of autocratic rule. Let's take a look at sport for you tonight. Rangers international coach Fidelis Ilechukwu appears to have accepted the harsh reality of their fading Nigeria Premier Football League NPFL title defense, with an 11-point gap separating them from leaders Remo Stars after 22 games. Despite bouncing back from a 2-game losing streak with a 2-0 win over Ikorodu City on Monday, Ilechukwu remains cautious about their chances. Tonight, as we end Global TV News Prime, let's bring you a recap of some of our big stories. The Lagos State government has hosted members of the Food and Beverage Recyclers Alliance on a courtesy visit to discuss the modalities for the enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has released new guidelines which permits Bureau de Change operators to purchase up to $25,000 weekly from authorized dealer banks. And the foreign scene, a state of emergency has been declared on the Greek island of Santorini after days of consecutive earthquakes. And finally, in sports tonight, we told you Rangers international coach Fidelis Ilechukwu appears to have accepted the harsh reality of their fading Nigeria Premier Football League. And that's all we have for you tonight here on News Prime. Thank you so very much for watching. Here's a quick reminder that you can find Global Television on DSTV, channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. We encourage you to engage with us using @GlobalTVNG, as well as other handles now showing on your screen. On behalf of our team on the ground here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, we say thank you for spending a part of your evening with us. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.